Hello on this lovely Sunday, April 19th, 2026 edition of our show. I'm Penelope Flynn, and I'm here with the remainder of our Blerdsassins Next Door, Otto, Sonia, and James. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the best mythological fantasies that we remember from, the past and present. But before we get started, of course, we give you the opportunity to get yourself settled in while we talk about the weather. So, Otto, you're top, right? How's the weather been?
Well, I can't believe I'm going first. I think it's the first time
No.
I've ever gone first.
Yay!
Wow. So, where we are right now, as you call it, the sunny Southwest, is
Yes.
more California weather. Now it's been mixed up with a little bit of Seattle. So that it's a little bit rainy and like 65, going down to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. I'm gonna remember this. I wish I could put it in a bottle and use it later on in August when
Yeah.
it's 120 degrees. But right now it's really good.
Yeah, and it's strange to me because I know it's still technically, early spring, but man, I mean, to drop into the 40s, that's
I
something.
am loving it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's strange, don't you think, for us to be in the 40s?
I love Strange because it's beautiful.
All right. And Sonia, did you all get to dig out from the snow?
No, the snow's coming later on today.
Oh, oh my
It's like
God.
41 degrees and dropping.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
why I'm like, he's like, yeah, I'm going down to 40. What do you mean going down to 40?
So, I mean, I do not know how it is.
Yesterday was nice. It was beautiful. The blue skies, and you could see it turning gray. And we're like, yep, it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
And
Yeah.
then Friday was even more beautiful. I got to go out a little, enjoy the sun, feel this heat, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
gone for like two,
Wow.
3 days. I'm making soup for tomorrow's dinner. That how cold it's gonna be.
Mm.
Wow.
Well,
That's
you
that
know
we have
what?
to raise them.
I say enjoy it because it's not gonna last. Being in New York, at least the
Mhm.
city. I know when it snowed in April and it snowed on my birthday a couple of times. The snow didn't last. It's like it was there and then it
Yeah,
was gone.
we know
Yeah.
it's not gonna last, but the fact that it's gonna snow.
Yeah, that is insane. That is insane. And so, James, are you having some snow, cold there too? No snow, just cold.
I don't know about the snow right now. It's 46 degrees and it's cloudy.
Wow.
But this past week it was beautiful. Most of the week it was in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and it was what I it's a hot that I love, a dry hot.
The dry heat that you don't get many places, when we're south. I mean, I guess for us in the summer and stuff, we get a dry heat, but South Florida, man, you get that nice heat. I mean, you get out in the sun, it's that good sweat going because it's humid. I enjoy the wet heat. I enjoy that humid
No,
heat.
I
If you hear,
can't do humidity. I can't do the wet heat. You might as well.
Wow.
If it's like that, you might as well put me on a boat going upriver to see Colonel Kurtz and whatnot.
Oh, okay. All right now.
But that's the thing I never
Right.
understood about when people said dry heat or
Mm-hmm.
wet heat or whatever.
The humid, yeah.
It's just hot
It's
to
heat to
me.
you. Yeah, but it feels different.
Yeah, it feels
It feels
different.
different.
Yeah, it's you're not uncomfortable as opposed to the humidity. The
Yeah,
humidity, you're
but
sweating and
sometimes when it's the right weather, it's not too hot. That humidity feels so good when you're out and you got a little bit of wind, a little
So what does
breeze.
that mean? I mean, when it's humid, you sweat more. Is that what it is?
now you sweat
Yeah.
more.
Hmm.
Everything
Yeah.
feels
and it's
wet.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
feels
You
like you just got a constant wet sheen on you.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I don't
That,
mind it in the beach weather. I don't mind it.
I loved it. I miss it right
Yeah. Yeah.
now.
I love it.
and when it's like that, I'm gonna get off the boat and get some mangoes. You know.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it. I'm all for it.
well,
Yeah.
I know the heat is the most aggravating thing in New York City is when it's really, really hot and you're on the subway and you're cheek to jowl with somebody. And then
Uh,
sometimes you can get so frustrated, you may turn into a serial killer or something. It's like then you got to go to work. It's, ugh.
Yeah. New York is not is not good when it's
Mm-hmm.
hot like that in the summer, and again when it's the
Mm-hmm.
humidity. Cause see, when it's like that, as I told you guys before, New York makes its own gravy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it sure
yes,
does.
man.
And
I mean, this.
some people want to get on the train and not wear underwear.
Oh, yeah. But
Well,
you know, but
that's the 7 train.
The whole
but you
damn
know what?
train.
But isn't that why you all have the fresh air fund?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
Very good, Penelope. Very
I,
good.
yeah, come on, that's what it's for, right?
yeah.
All right.
That's what.
Yeah,
Well, that was what
yeah.
the why the Fresh Air Fund was created to get kids
Mm-hmm.
out of
Away
the
from
city.
stinky subways.
Yeah,
Okay.
as opposed to what RFK was talking about with
Oh my
sending
Lord.
kids to
Be
reparent them.
reparented. Yes, wonderful. All right,
Yeah,
well let's get to it, and that's, I mean, getting away from all of this, we slide into the issue of our best mythological fantasies. And Otto and I were having this conversation, that turned out, well, you know how it is, like you see Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad, the Arabian Nights, 1001 Nights,
Thief
and
of Baghdad.
yeah, yeah, and Thief of Baghdad, absolutely. And we said, well, which ones do you prefer? The Greek, you know, mythological tales, or the ones that are the Middle Eastern mythological tales. Some people, get into the Norse mythology, Greek versus Roman mythology, which are really kind of, like kind of very close, or anything else that's out there. But there's a lot of fantasy that is based in mythology, a lot of mythological tales. So, we're going to talk about the best of that, and for people who are looking for things like that to watch, what they should be looking for, what we have gauged as being the things that we like best.
There's some classics. I mean, there's some things that
Mm-hmm.
just trigger classics. I mean, we were watching the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like tick off the box of what makes it classic.
Yeah.
One of the things is number one is like it's usually from Columbia Pictures,
Yeah.
and it's usually Ray Harryhausen is involved somewhere,
Yes. Ray Harryhausen, it's always a good sign.
and
Oh,
then
almost always. Almost
and then
always.
and then orchestration by Bernard Herrmann
Mm-hmm.
and produced by Charles Schneer.
Okay.
That
yeah, but
seemed to be one of the
Mm-hmm.
consistencies.
but
Yes.
that's what first got me into. I mean, not deep, but that's what
Mm-hmm.
first got me into um mythology was Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh yeah, that's such a
I mean,
classic.
it was it was a thing back then when especially when it first started appearing on TV,
Mm-hmm.
that we would all, my father, the whole family, we would get in the living room and watch it just to get to the end with the sword fight with the skeleton.
Yeah, man, that's classic.
Yeah,
That is classic.
yeah,
The skeleton, fight. Wow, that is, yeah.
and actually that movie put a irrational fear in me of giants.
Yes, okay.
Because with the part where they go to the what is it the
The island, and
yeah,
the what is his name? What's the name of that? The
it's not,
giant
was it Titan or
Titan. Yeah, it may have been like Titan, something
yeah,
like that. And
yeah,
wow, and the way it moved, and
yeah. I mean
yeah.
the as soon as his head turns, you know you know you're in
Ah,
for
I'm out.
something.
I'm out.
Yeah, because I remember as a child when I saw his head turn, I wasn't one at that age to use
Yeah,
curse words, but in my mind I was like, oh shit,
yeah, yeah. How do you?
yeah,
I mean, and it's so well done. Even now, you watch these things. Of course, the production values aren't the same as a lot of the stuff they have now. But boy, just I mean, you talk about fantasy. It takes you. It transports you. And the fear is real of these scary things.
yeah,
Some people look at, oh, that
No,
don't
it
look,
was real. It was real,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just like James said, I mean, the thing is that you watch these shows and you can watch them, and adults will sit down and watch it with you.
that's right,
There's not a lot of movies that you can enjoy as a child and you can enjoy with your parents as
that's
well.
right, that's
It's like
right.
this is
and
good.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and and another thing about that movie that scared the living shit out of me was
Okay.
when when Jason would talk to the
Oh, Tahara at the
yeah,
masthead of the ship.
the minute she opened her eyes, I was like, oh
He
Oh
lost
no,
it.
no, no,
He
no,
lost
no.
it.
So Nasa, oh no, no, I'm out.
yeah,
So I'm out. But that's like, when does your ship start talking
But
to
but
you?
with when we saw those shows on television,
Mm-hmm.
they had been out for a while. So
And
yeah,
like,
that's the thing too. That's kind of amazing. That we see them as kids, and we think this is like going on right now, not realizing that these things are old as
yeah,
heck.
these
Old.
are old. It's like,
Yeah,
holy cow, I can't believe they did this.
Well, well,
yeah.
well. See, here's the trick that the networks used to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say like Jason and the Argonauts. It came out. Shit, I think actually when it came out, I was might have been maybe 2 3 years old.
No,
But
I
No,
think it was
that is
before you were
older than
born.
that.
I
Yeah,
yeah,
think it was
probably.
in the
Yeah,
50s.
well,
yeah.
uh, maybe 59 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how the networks would get around it, and if you're a child, they would say a network premiere.
Of
Right,
course, of
right.
course, of
Okay,
course.
so when you focus on the word premiere,
Yeah, oh, it's new.
yeah, it's
It's
new,
brand new.
but you're not focusing on the word network.
Right.
You're working on
It's
Premiere.
like, wow, this
Yeah.
Premiere,
is I can't believe that this is coming out and everybody's not stopping and watching it. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
I
right.
want to I want to get up and start running around my house.
yeah,
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
great.
yeah.
and so in fact, the life of a picture like Jason and the Argonauts, it
Mm-hmm.
would go from first run maybe to neighborhood, or maybe before neighborhood somewhere. No, it would go to neighborhood theaters, and then it would go to a
Mm-hmm.
network premiere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then it would go to the late show.
Yeah.
Then it go from that to VHS to
Well, no, 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 no. Before the late show, it goes to the afternoon show. Remember?
right, right,
Mm-hmm.
correct, correct. It would
Yeah.
go to the 4:30 movie.
Right.
Okay, so that would be the life of a film. Now
Mm-hmm.
with the Sinbad movies, actually, I remember seeing one of them
In the theater.
in the theater.
Yeah, but see, some of these things were like second run when we saw
Yeah,
them.
well, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was the neighborhood movie theater. That was second run.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which Sinbad movie it was. I think it was the one where the wizard stretched his arm.
But see, I'm looking at him now, IMDb, and it has Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger is
No, that's
1977. That's
1960. No, but the
that's
one we
77.
saw,
I would tell you, I'm going through the 77, the Patrick Wayne one,
no, the
in
one that we
Right,
saw,
19.
the
Uh-huh.
one that we saw was the seventh voyage of Sinbad, and that was in 1958.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they did the seventh voyage of Sinbad, and I saw it on TV, I said, "Oh boy, they got six more of these I have to watch."
Yeah, no, not
But it
quite.
wasn't like that at all. They didn't have any. They didn't have like the
Yeah.
first and the second, third. But
No,
as a kid, that's what I thought. Why would you say seventh if
they did do
if you
6, 5, 4, 3, 2 in the
right,
first.
right.
And,
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 and
and,
when you read them, when you read these things, wow! Like one of the stories that I've never seen them do, but I haven't seen all these because I'm looking now, and there is a plethora of Sinbad films. But the
yeah.
story where he goes to that island and a guy jumps on him on his head and is walk and has his legs around his neck
I
and
never saw
makes
that one.
him. It's just one of the stories. It's never I never
Oh,
seen them.
another. Oh, right, right.
It's in
Okay.
the written the Voyages of Sinbad. And this guy is what makes him, walk around like he's like these people like squeeze their legs and stuff, how to choke you and stuff. And he makes Sinbad carry him around all day, every day, and so Sinbad gets smart, and what he does, he starts, picking grapes and stuff. And so he's going picking his grapes and he's letting them ferment. And so he gets the ferment, he starts drinking his wine and like singing la 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 and stuff, showing how great this is. Then the guy wants some. So he gives him the wine. The guy gets drunk. As soon as he gets drunk, He loosens his hold on him, the thighs his hold. He knocks him down and kills him.
So what?
They should show that. Man, that's
I
not good to me.
know.
And I had no idea what that's all about. That the dude was be on your shoulders and your head and won't get off.
Yeah,
And
So
nobody,
yeah.
so
and
would that
He-
so
nobody
would that be a ancient form of DUI? And
yeah, I guess so. He drunk while
well,
driving.
like nobody will help you. Like get this guy off of you.
No, he's like on this island. He became marooned, and this crazy man. First, he thinks he's trying to help this guy. He thinks he's like, oh, some old guy sitting there. Oh, I'm so feeble and frail. He jumped on him and wrapped his legs around his shoulders
He
and his
should have
neck.
killed that dude
He
because
did, yeah.
because the thing is that dude didn't do that once. He did that probably
Of
multiple
course,
times. Yeah.
but
of course.
that would, oh my God, do you know how long it takes for for grapes to ferment?
Yeah. And so I mean, that Sinbad had to have a plan. He had to walk around with this guy on his neck. And
But see,
every
they never
time,
showed that because I don't know if Harryhausen could. What would he do with
yeah,
that?
because that's just people. That's just a
Right.
thing a person did to you. And then the
Right.
story of how he goes and he's traveling. He goes to this. It's probably like the first voyage that he goes to this place, and he meets this woman, and he falls in love. They get married, and then she gets sick, and she dies. And then they say, okay, well, this is fine. It's time for us to bury her. Now you get in there with her.
What?
Yep. It's like when your spouse dies, you got to get in with him. But first he said his neighbor first, his wife died, and he's like, crying and crying and carrying on. He said, okay, your wife is dead, but you're dying, but it's not so bad. He said, yeah. He said, they'll put me in there with her. And then he said, when his wife got sick, man, he was trying to do every remedy, whatever it was, to try to keep her well and alive, but it didn't work.
That's
And she died.
insane.
Man,
I
he
love
had
those
to
stories like that, but that's insane.
I
It's
know.
like if my spouse got sick, I would go out for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you some medicine. I'll be back.
I'll be
What,
back in a few. Yeah,
what
I'll be
that,
back in never. I'll be back in never o'clock.
Yeah.
he went
So
out for a
yeah,
pack of
that is a
Newports and
Sinbad story. And the thing I thought was kind of wild is the version that I read. It's like he's there and he's underground, and they only give you a certain amount of provisions, and basically you starve to death. So he was down there, and then he saw this man had died, and they took his wife, they put her down there and stuff with her provisions. He got like a femur bone for so he's dead, knocked her upside her head, killed her, and took her provisions.
Wow.
Well, back then that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the Brothers Grimm stories
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Hans Christian
That's
Andersen,
right.
and I can remember. God, I should never have did it. I gave this book on African mythology
Mm-hmm.
to a coworker. I'm sorry I gave it to that person, but no, I remember reading some African mythologies, and they were pretty gory too.
Hmm.
Where the king kills the son and they chopping people up, and so
Crazy.
just I guess that's the world that they lived in back then.
Yes,
Well,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
great to me.
unvarnished.
Well, it's great
Mm-hmm.
to me because depending on when you saw these,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, at first I read the Greek and the Roman mythology, and then to see them manifested on television on screen, it's like, yeah, I know those characters. I know
Yeah,
that name.
I know the story. Yeah.
Right, right. But they took a lot of liberty. They took a lot of liberty because a lot of the stuff that showed up in the movies, I didn't read about that in the books. I didn't see a lot of that stuff.
Well, they had to, when you're trying to pitch something
New and
on
yeah,
film and you want to get a wide audience,
yeah, but
you're gonna do stuff like I don't know which Sinbad it was, but it was one Sinbad because I think maybe it was more than one studio that did the movies.
hmm
Guy Williams, he played Sinbad.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, that's the one where
Hmm
the giant fist was trying to smash him. You know what
A
I'm saying?
giant fist.
Yeah, giant fists were
Uh,
trying to smash him. Um,
Wow.
Going back to Jason and the Argonauts, you had a doctor,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
one of the Doctor Who's
mm-hmm.
in Jason. He was in Jason and the Argonauts. I can't remember the one that had the beetle haircut.
Hmm.
Okay.
And actually, another doctor I think was in in the one with Patrick Wayne, Baker. I think he played a villain in either that or one of the Sinbad movies. So it's like you have to when it comes to adapting it to film, you kind of have to cherry pick the stories, and plus also some of those stories were not suitable for kids, I guess.
Well, I think it depends on you know. I mean, a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is really complex when you read it. And like you mentioned, the African mythology.
Uh huh.
I I could not get into the African mythology. After I read after I read the Greek and the Norse and the Roman
Hmm.
mythology, the African mythology just didn't have that drama and stuff that the others had. Did you find that to be true or different or
Well,
not?
well, for me, the African mythology was kind of all over the place. It's more African mythology to me is more like the genre of magical realism. Where one minute this person is doing this, and next minute a lion comes and eats that person, and then the lion goes and does something else, and
Or,
yada
or, or it was
yada.
like, I remember one, how the leopard got his
Mm-hmm.
spots,
Right.
and then I
So,
said to myself, I don't give a damn how no leopard got no spots, man. I want to know something like Zeus coming down and
mm-hmm.
having intimate relations with all these women and making these demigods and stuff. That's more exciting to me about a leopard getting his spots. I said, okay, he got spots. He got spots. And
Eh,
what?
and that's it. What do you
Yeah.
what do you want?
I
Yeah. It's okay.
don't care a damn about no leopard and those spots,
Well, then
man.
you have to get the next story is how the leopard lost his spots, and that's when he goes to the store and gets some spot remover.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There you
Okay,
go.
man. You know what? That's not
Mm-hmm.
that. That's why I skipped that section of the library, man. I went to
Yeah.
the Roman and the Greek and the Norse stuff. Like a lot of it was like the Thor doing stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
and and I was trying to think of some movies that were on point on the Norse mythology that was on the same level of as the Harryhausen stuff. I can't think of any.
I can't think of any either.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. I mean, the
Um.
only the you think what Marvel, when they doing Thor and Loki and stuff,
Yeah, but that's
but they
Oh.
don't do the actual
Oh. Yeah. That's
mythology.
but that's not
that's
that's not
Yeah.
completely
yeah.
completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. They
Yeah, I don't think
don't.
that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's
Yeah.
like a not perverted, but it's like a really watered down kind of comic book thing, where they talk
Yeah.
about Loki
Yeah.
and and when I was into Norse myths, and then I
Mm-hmm.
saw, Loki and Thor and stuff in the comic books, and then in the Marvel universe films, I was like, that has nothing to do with Thor and nothing to do with Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember earlier, either last year or year before last, I was reading a fantasy book, and they based it on Norse, Norse gods characters.
Mm-hmm.
And at one part, Loki went to some king or somewhere, and he came back, and because he was such a pain in the ass, they sewed his mouth closed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
and actually, the I want to say giants.
The Frost
The
Giants.
frost
Yeah,
giants.
the frost
That he
giants.
was actually a frost giant and a god
Was
mix.
Loki a Frost Giant?
He was the son of a frost giant.
But was he
Yes.
himself a Frost Giant?
No, he was little, but he was of their lineage of a frost giant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
In Marvel, yeah,
Or in Marvel?
not in the Norse mythology.
He was in Norse mythology. He is a
Yeah, he
frost.
was, but he wasn't a frost giant.
He is of that lineage of frost giants.
yeah, and again in their mythology, Loki doesn't run around in green and yellow like the Marvel
Yeah,
comics.
I didn't. When I was reading that, I didn't picture him that way. You know.
I
Yeah,
just thought, but you don't think of Thor except by having like his hammer, and
But
whatever
well,
he
to
makes,
me,
But I,
reading the Norse
mm-hmm,
mythology when I was growing up,
mm-hmm,
I pictured Thor as some like almost like a bearded Hercules. You know, like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, agreed,
with a
agreed,
hammer.
yeah, and that's it.
yeah. Because if in fact you might be right, because in the book I had read, he had like reddish hair.
Yeah,
So
yeah, big
like,
a big giant. What do you call it? See, giant Viking or something running around.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he wasn't, and he was just as smart as Hercules was, which is
yeah.
not much.
It's not very, which is
No,
why I think the combination of himself with Loki was a big deal because Loki was very smart, you know,
right.
and he was clever, smart, and but they were friends, they're brothers and they're friends. So,
Yeah, but the thing that
hmm
stood out to me about the Norse
hmm hmm
mythology, that was a lot more violent than the Greek and Roman mythology.
yeah, that's true. I didn't really
But
get into it because of all the because it's like, okay, that's nice, but it didn't have like all the texture that the
right,
Greek
right, very
mythology
straightforward.
did.
But the Greek and Roman mythology, people were very vengeful.
Yeah. And boy, I mean, talk about they go a lifetime trying to get back at you. I said, look,
Yeah, it's like you screwed around
yeah,
with my girlfriend, so now
uh-huh,
I'm going to turn you into a spider for the rest of your life or something.
yeah, that's boy, or like, oh, like of course the story of Arachnid, that Arachne said that she was what was a better seamstress or better could weave better than Athena, and so they did their competition, and then Athena decided that she won. Whoever it is that decided that Athena won, so they turned her into a spider because she tried to kill herself because she lost.
Right.
But Athena had a habit of killing off or doing mean things to people who were better than her. You
Right,
know.
but these are never manifested in movies, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
because either they couldn't do it, or
Yeah.
they thought it was
Yeah.
boring to
Yeah.
audiences or something. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, Greek
well,
gods were petty,
Yeah.
and
They were. They were.
the
yeah,
only time you saw a Greek god being petty was Aphrodite and Xena, where she would do
Mm-hmm.
things just because she was mad and things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
But they don't show how petty the males are. Well, that what Ares was in Xena, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And he is petty as
he
well.
they showed his obsessive side in
Mm-hmm.
Xena.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pick
And,
one trait, and that's the one when
You only get one.
right.
well,
yeah,
like Jason and the Argonauts, it's like the gods would put their finger on the scales,
Yeah.
to make sure that somebody won who they wanted to win.
Right. Like Clash of the Titans. They do that. The concept of you know the you know I don't know who's
Like
it. It's
it's like
Perseus.
this. I favored
Not
you
per,
for
yeah.
I favored
Yeah.
you for a while, and now I don't
Yeah.
favor you anymore. I favor somebody else,
Yeah.
and I don't care what you do, you're not going to win.
You're never gonna get back in favor.
Well,
No, because your time has come.
It's
that's
come
the
and
whole
gone.
Hercules myth.
Mm-hmm.
Hercules' mom had an affair with Zeus. Hera got mad. They tried to name the baby after her to pacify her. That didn't work, and she just went about setting things to make this poor child's life difficult for the rest of his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, but he deserved to have things being difficult for him. He was a
Yeah,
jerk.
that's beside the point. But
That's the point. It
he,
had nothing to do with it.
it was because Hera was mad at him that he was a
Okay.
jerk in his mind.
Maybe who knows? I mean, you could say that part of this is being abused all your life, or somebody
Mhm.
trying to set traps for you. Not abused, but trying to set traps for you can make you into somebody who is not an appropriate individual. But of course, they all had problems with their home lives.
Libido.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, when I was a younger woman, I started reading the stuff about these Greek, people with these young boys. And they would say, oh, they weren't, that also no, these, because they say with regard to Hercules and Romany, which is little boys. And I'm disgusted with it now. It's hard for me to even think about it. I think it's just disgusting and revolting.
Well, when I was reading them as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I think all that stuff is
Mm-hmm.
sanitized, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I was just reading like the 12 labors of Hercules.
yeah. Those.
What I would have loved for that to be turned into a movie. Everybody knows the 12 labors of Hercules, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a film
That
that reflected the
actually
12 labors
reflects
of
all 12
Hercules.
labors.
Yeah.
They should do it as a television show, as a streaming thing, and do each labor should have its own show.
Let me ask you this though: if they did something like that, do you think that AI and CGI would it be would it be as good as the Ray Harryhausen depictions of different monsters and stuff?
Well, see, the problem I have is that sometimes, I think the people who do CGI and the AI stuff, what they try to do is make a monster that, okay, this is what the monster would look like, right? And they make it look like they tried to do King Kong, make it look like a giant ape. But
Well,
that's not what was scary. The scariness was that this King Kong in the original moved all weirdly. He looked like his body didn't move right.
right.
His fur wasn't moving. It's something out of a nightmare. When they
Yeah,
try
well,
to
that
make it, yeah, too much realism, it takes away that nightmare's quality.
well, I think it's what one would say beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on how old you are or what
Mm-hmm.
generation you come from. You know, to
Mm-hmm.
us, Ray Harryhausen was the man.
Yeah.
Because like you said, some of his creations were because of the jerky movement and
Yeah.
everything. They had that nightmarish quality to them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so we can relate to that because it probably gave us freaking nightmares.
Yes, it did.
Um, somebody watched that came up during the age of
Mm-hmm.
CGI, they would look at it differently. Okay,
So
because I yeah,
can you think of any CGI films, television shows that have portrayed, the Greek mythologies or the Roman mythologies or any of those? Can you recall any?
I can't recall any that was done in CGI, but I do know there's a movie Trolls.
Oh man, you're right, but I did love that.
Okay, with the
I
trolls,
did love Trolls. Oh
yeah,
my
the
gosh, that was scary as heck.
yeah,
And yeah,
and that was CGI.
and maybe also what is the other one? But it's, I mean, it's not mythology. But what is the name of the thing? Gosh, Attack on Titan. That
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things, that was the
yeah,
live action film of that. Wow, they can
yes,
make some things. You're right. Some things can be made to look horrible. But
right.
again, we used to have, what is his name? In fact, I put up there, storyteller, Greek myths. That
Yeah,
these
I
were
mean they were using
Jim Henson and Frank Oz. That's there. Jim Henson's the storyteller. So they
they were
would
using what they're using their puppets, their puppetry.
yes, yes. So they were doing that using
That
their
looks that
yeah.
looked pretty scary to me.
And it was. They did some of those things look very. I mean, especially when you have, I think the Icarus story in there was like one of the most, I don't know, heart-rending.
I mean,
Mhm.
before the show, we were talking about, generational sayings and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and how you say stuff and other people, the younger people, don't understand what we're talking about. But you bring up the Icarus story. The the
Mhm.
the punchline is, don't fly too close to the sun.
Right.
And so, does that have any meaning anymore?
I think it does have meaning, but if you don't know the story, then you don't know what the basis of it is. You don't know this child, young child
I
man. You know.
I don't know if people would see, because that's, you had the moral of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hate to say it, but we live in an age where people are morally challenged.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a person that would, see that, that story, about Icarus, these days, people are like, okay, so
Yeah.
you know, so he flew too close to the sun. What is the saying? They probably say 6'7".
Ha!
6, 7,
You know what I'm saying?
or maybe they say YOLO or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you
you
go.
know,
There you go.
yeah, or he was D-Lo. You know what
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I don't know about now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but back then it the story stood for something. It had a moral.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of that Star Trek episode
Mm-hmm.
where Apollo is there,
Yes.
yeah.
and
Who
Who
mourns for
Right,
Apollo?
honest?
Apollo.
yeah, and so it's like, people start believing and thinking about Apollo, then he becomes
Mm-hmm.
more of a thing in the breeze, like a.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I have to, for that episode, I have to give credit to the stunt man,
Mm-hmm.
because when he is supposed to be Scotty and he,
Ha!
flings him
Mm-hmm.
across the garden, I know that was that
Yeah.
had to hurt for that stunt person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, you look at it, and in a way, it's kind of related to what's going now, because people, I hate to say it, but some
Mm-hmm.
people out here have just outgrown being, having morals.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it
it's also
outgrown?
because they teach to the test rather than trying to teach critical thinking. When we had the Greek mythologies classes, we were always now transpose it for what's our lesson for today? How can we apply it today?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're just like, okay, this is going to be covered in this section of the test. You need to know this, and so they don't get to do that further expansion and thinking. I think until um, American Gods came out, the
Mm-hmm.
book first,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember there being a big renaissance on people digging through trying to find the references to the original gods back
Right.
then, and Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and now
Yeah.
the TV series. People are starting to,
Is that
young
good?
people.
Is that
I
good?
like the TV series. I haven't seen the movies. The TV
Mm-hmm.
series is really good, and they use they show the gods' effects in different ways. So, like, there was a
Mm-hmm.
god who made time not irrelevant, but they were on a certain timed quest, and a
Mm-hmm.
god kept them in one place for 3 days. But they did it in a way that you didn't need the effects. You just, what
Mm-hmm.
do you mean it's been 3 days? And they go
Yeah.
out and they, they go back outside the building and realize that they've missed their deadline because they've been in this. They got let this god trap them for 3 days.
Wow.
So instead of, usually you'd see the time dilation stretch and
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
like that. This was just a, yeah, you've been in here for 3 days. What?
Well,
Oh, there you
when
go.
when I was reading, going to school, Greek mythology was not on the reading list.
Mm-hmm.
Other so-called, I guess, routine readings was on the reading list. And when I went to junior high school,
Mm-hmm.
we read the Iliad and the Odyssey, which was strange to me and seemed to be a challenge for other people, because it's like, if you don't have a basis in Greek mythology, isn't reading the Iliad and Odyssey more of a challenge?
Probably, if you, I mean, if
Yeah.
you're just coming to
Yeah.
it for the first time, maybe, and I think that some people never read it as kids, and so it is new to them. But I guess in a way, I have to say this: if I were somebody in school and this was just new to me, I would be thrilled. I would be thrilled to say, "Man, this I'd never seen this before. It's very exciting." Don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, but now that's like, what part of the test is it?
Mm,
And I get frustrated when, kids are always coming to me and goes, but this isn't going to be on our test. Why do we have to read this? And I'm like, because it'll help you figure out the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, it was strange
Yes, it's
because,
true.
like I said, no one said, "Hey, go read Greek or Norse or Roman
No,
mythology."
you just
I
found
read
it.
it because it seemed like it was a good read.
Yeah, you just
Well,
found it.
for me, I got into it late, but I got into it because I saw Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, yeah,
So I had an interest in it, and at first it was hard going, but I got it.
yeah.
And
To learn
then
all the different gods and what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
and
did and who.
God
Yeah,
forbid, no one could pronounce Icarus and Daedalus. And anyone who pronounced their names the correct way the first time they read it raised
oh,
their
you
hand.
get a
But
eh,
gold
I could
star.
not. I Icarus and Day.
Yeah,
and
Daedalus
and
was the most challenging. Because I was
and,
like, how do you pronounce
another
that?
thing that helped with me
Hmm.
getting into the mythology was the cartoon Hercules.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
I watched
man, I
that
remember that
too.
one. Yeah,
Okay,
but that
Hercules.
was
Now,
but
and we
that
don't
was
get
a
the Disney
bastard.
version.
That was
We
the
don't get the Disney
bastardization of
version. Yeah,
Hercules.
but
yeah, it
still, it
was.
got you interested.
Yeah, it got you interested because when you look at it, Hercules and Thor, they're
Hmm.
those two are probably one of the oldest public domain characters
Yeah, well, that's true.
out here. And also, I don't know if you remember Otto when you was in New York, but Sunday mornings or maybe going into Sunday afternoon on Channel 9, that's when they
Hmm.
used to show the Sandal and Sword movies.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
do. Yeah,
Hercules,
Steve Reeves and all
Steve
them.
Reeves, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's how
they were
I
horrible.
yeah, they were.
But you
Yeah.
still watched them anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me being the king of
Yeah,
bees, of
yes, of
course.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would love that, but they were horrible. And then if you compare them to like Jason and the Argonauts and stuff, it's like
Yeah,
this is where's the monsters and stuff, man.
yeah. It
I
just
want
Eh,
to see Steve Reeves flexing his pecs.
yeah.
I want to see some monsters.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean I can remember a Hercules movie
Uh-huh.
that was kind of set in the time of the Three Musketeers.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
You
made
know,
that?
I don't know, and I kind of thought it was kind of funny and not in a ha ha funny
Not
way.
haha funny. But,
Yeah, he had this like sidekick that was just kind of overly too protective, and
What's
they
going
had,
on there?
yeah,
But
yeah,
the other thing is, some of the movies made me mad because when I read Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Norse
Hmm.
mythology, I took that stuff seriously. And
Yeah,
then, it's like you making a movie trying to make a joke of what my interests are. Because I
yeah.
remember the movie called it was like Samson, Hercules,
Hercules
and
and
who
Ulysses.
and you it's like that
Yeah,
in no way, shape, or form
yeah. I
should
remember
those three
that.
those three characters come together.
Yep. Well, that
well,
happened.
No way, shape, or form.
wasn't there? I think with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hercules in New York.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I just,
Yeah,
it
okay.
just so you making fun of me, God damn it!
You're trying to
You
make
making
fun
fun
of
of me.
me.
You're making fun of me. But the one thing about the Ray Harryhausen
Mm-hmm.
movies, Jason and Argonauts,
Uh-huh.
the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and all the other Sinbad movies, and even Clash of the Titans, which is marginal to me.
Mm-hmm.
right,
But
right.
at least
Yeah.
they took, I think at least they took the subject matter seriously, which is
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I was going to say too, though, if you have not seen The Storyteller, Greek Myths, which is one of the Jim Henson products, wow, they are fantastic.
it's on
Very
YouTube.
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, very adult. You find them on YouTube. They're very adult, and
Well, when you say adult, what do you mean? Because people say
I mean
adult.
that when I say adult, I mean they don't, happy endings and, nobody gets hurt and, just basically just kind of swashbuckly. I mean, it deals very dark, issues, of people doing bad things that they did them in the Greek myths. But a lot of times when we saw these Greek myths or read these Greek myths when we were kids, they did not deal with like the human, um, I
Human
guess the
foibles.
depravity. Yeah, the
Human foibles.
depravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that, you see these people who are heroes, but they heroes at feet of clay for certain. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching a show. I don't know if you're watching as well,
Mm-hmm.
Penelope, but it was a show talking about some of the people who are in our public space now. The people who
Mm-hmm.
like Google and the Meta and all
Yeah.
that stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and all that, and how these people act the way they do, and they can easily be bought for whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is because they don't really have any center.
Yeah. No
They don't
mentorship.
have any. They don't have
Yeah.
any mentors, and don't have any
Mm-hmm.
people who say, "Hey, you should do this, but not that, or maybe that's bad." And I think maybe that's because they haven't been exposed. I mean, have no interest in
Mm-hmm.
reading a lot of these stories or watching these movies, and a lot of these movies give you some sort of center on, how you should act and how you should respond when you put into a moral
Dilemma.
choice
Yeah.
or the
When you're in
moral
a dilemma.
dilemma.
Well, again, that goes back to what I was saying, that
Mm-hmm.
we now these days and times, moral. A lot of people don't have a moral compass.
Right.
Okay. Also, remember a lot of TV shows, and you said this a couple of podcasts ago, Penelope,
Mhm.
that a lot of TV shows were morality plays.
Yeah.
Okay, where the character, the protagonist, was put in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think that started to morality plays started to disappear, because maybe it's me. I'm just saying, I could be wrong, but I think part of it was because the country became more jaded.
Or the
You know,
rise of the what do you call it? The anti-hero.
yeah, the
You know.
anti-hero. Okay, if you look at it from the early '70s moving forward, you
Mm-hmm.
had the rise of the anti-hero,
Mm-hmm.
and people were disgusted with Vietnam, Watergate,
Yeah.
the energy crisis, and it just had a snowball effect.
Yeah, because people thought that these institutions that we relied on really were, selling your bill of goods,
Yeah,
and people became disillusioned.
yeah.
And I think that's, a lot of disillusionment because now these bedrocks of our society are no longer anything that we can count on, and so you have to try to, so cynicism, right? The rise of cynicism.
Yeah,
Uh,
you
and
know.
Cynicism, and I think, don't you think people, they really want something to believe in, and
that's
it's
Yeah,
how,
not
and
there.
cults, cynicism and the rise of cults,
yeah.
because they want to believe in things. And if there's nothing there, there's something that's going to fill that vacuum.
Hmm.
I
That's,
just,
yeah. That's why, when you look at it, right, a lot of people today that have become part of that cult, which I'm not going to mention,
yes, yes.
a lot of that started. Some of those people were listeners to Coast to Coast with Art Bell and George Norrie. Okay, and they dealt with people wanted to believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like the modern mythology today is Area 51.
Hmm.
Okay, a lot of people actually believe that something happened in Area 51, and take it from somebody that's been studying UFOs for decades. Ain't nothing there.
Ha!
Ain't nothing there. And I guess I'm in the minority with that. But it's this whole, like you said, people want to believe in something,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
and
Anything they want to believe.
anything.
I
Yeah.
mean, look at the guy who said he was transported to a Waffle House.
Yeah.
Now, and the thing is, the media picked up that story. Now, there are a lot of important stories that are going
Yeah.
around that really have an impact on our lives, and that
And
we don't
they
know
get
about.
that.
And then the story about the guy who got transported to a Waffle House. He woke up in a Waffle House, and that was the
well,
story.
when when I
Well, I
heard
mean, it's a
that,
story when it's one of your officials, your federal
yeah,
officials that
Well,
believes that.
he's not like the head of anything. He's like
Mm,
the subordinate or
it
something. But
it well.
yeah,
Well, put it this way: it's a story that should not have been in the news
yeah,
because here we're
yeah,
paying some people paying $6 a gallon for gas.
yep.
yeah,
Okay,
I
it's
mean, remember the newspaper? I don't know if it still exists today, but you used to see that the checkout counter called the Star.
yeah,
Yes,
National
yeah,
Enquirer.
yeah,
Yeah, and so they would ran stories like that on their front page all the time.
Yeah,
yes, but
You
not real
know,
news.
yeah,
Real news.
government official says he was transported to Waffle House.
yeah,
Yeah, and we
You
would
know,
laugh
yeah.
at that, and you buy it. So, what kind of craziness is
or
this? You
you
know?
read it while you're checking out and you put it
Yeah,
back. You wouldn't
yeah,
buy it. You know, just read it.
right.
You know, it's oh my God when he said that I had a fuck. I had a
What?
You know me, I love that Al Pacino rant on, on YouTube for the Irishman. I just no,
Mhm.
no.
Yeah, but that's a story because people are so thirsty for something to believe in
Yep,
beyond
yep.
themselves. They've lost total, I think, faith in human
Mhm,
nature and kind to give them something to believe. I mean, it
mhm,
used to be people who believed in JFK and the new generation. They believed in that,
Right,
mhm.
and
right.
then I didn't care for it too much, but people believed in Reaganism. Like the
Yeah,
shining
Mm-mm.
city on the
yeah,
hill kind of thing.
yeah.
They believed in that,
Yes,
Mhm.
those two are perfect examples. The New
Yeah,
and people.
Frontier
And
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't
and
right,
yeah,
and people don't have that anymore. I mean, you have the Artemis 2 that put people for
Wow.
the furthest from the moon, the furthest
For
from
the
the earth that
Earth's
any
gravity.
human
Yeah,
had ever traveled, but no mention of John F. Kennedy when he said, "We're gonna
yeah,
do this. We're gonna do
yeah,
this."
yeah.
You know?
and you know what? When I was watching the live streaming or feed
Yes,
of it,
yes.
you had people in the comment section because I was watching on YouTube.
Please
Yeah,
don't.
people. Yes,
Please don't.
yes. People were talking. It's fake. It's how
Oh my
can it be up
god.
there if the Earth is flat?
I
Okay.
think those are jokes. They're joke
No.
bots.
No,
There must be something.
but no, no.
Mm-mm.
It might have been some might have been joke bots, but you actually have people out here that still believe the Earth is flat.
I don't think they really believe it. I think they're trying to make themselves believe it. So they think that by saying it, it makes them special. And I know I'm jaded in that way, that I think that a lot of people say things that make no sense because they're
What?
trying to
And
be
yeah,
special.
yeah. You know what? You're right with part of them because
Mm,
those are what you call contrarians.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just want. If you say
You
up, they're
go
gonna say
left, they
down.
go
You say
right.
in, they say out.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But there are actually some people living
Mm-mm.
in West Bubblefuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
the thing is like I tell people all the time, and when I give them advice regarding stuff, it's like you can believe it or not. It's
Mm-hmm.
like gravity. Gravity doesn't depend
Mm-hmm.
on you believing it or not.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like if you jump off a cliff, you will fall. Gravity doesn't care whether you
Mm.
believe that
Yeah.
it's a thing. It has no skin in the game.
Yeah.
And so even when you talk about Artemis too, people that's a
Yeah.
Greek. Is it
Yeah.
Greek or Roman? That's Greek.
Greek.
And so people don't know what Artemis is.
Yeah.
They think
Yeah.
maybe that's the name of somebody's kid or something. But
Or
you
maybe
know,
what is it, that guy from
Wow.
Wild Wild West? Yeah, Wild Wild West
yeah.
guy.
And even the Apollo missions, the Greek and Roman
Yes. Yes.
mythology exists
Yep.
so
So
much
you
in our usage.
so
Mm-hmm.
you say they should have put the patch for the mission should have been his head and the spaceship circling around to the
Yeah,
west.
okay. Yeah. There we go. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank
but
you.
Yeah,
And,
no, yeah, this is it's been a lapse.
yeah.
It's been a
it's a
lapse.
lapse, and
Yeah.
it's been a lapse, and
And yeah. And these
the
stories, these
movies,
mythologies.
the
Yeah.
Jason and
Yeah.
Argonauts and stuff
All
like
of it.
that.
It
I think
provides so much space.
people look at
You
it,
know.
people look at it, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that. they care about it as much. And
Yeah, sad.
but you still have, like you said, you still have,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, you still have the space probe being called Artemis and
Mm-hmm.
Apollo, and they're given these, Greek names, Greek and Roman names and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So there's still people who,
Harkening back to that.
yeah, it's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the, I guess, the beacon of hope that somebody of, and I'm not blaming them necessarily, but somebody of the Gen Z generation or
Mm-hmm.
millennial generation, they see the name
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, well, okay, well, what does, why the name Artemis?
You think some people
Yeah.
looked it up?
I would hope not. I would hope
You
that they
think some
would
people
know
looked
what it
it?
is.
I don't think people know what it is. I
No,
think I
I
think
think I think you might have, and it might be one out of 1,000 that this will prompt them
To go look it
to,
up.
yeah, to go look it up, and then they'll go into a rabbit hole of
Mm-hmm.
getting into Greek mythology, and
Mm-hmm.
who knows, maybe you might inspire that person to get into other mythologies.
Mm-hmm.
You
I hope
know,
so. I
I
hope
hope
so
so
because
too.
it's such an escapism
Yeah.
from what's number one, what's going on now, and then if you see the films that are coming out now, and I watched a lot of the trailers for upcoming movies. Sad to say, it's all a bunch of guns and people shooting
Mm-hmm.
and being hurtful to one another. It's not great, y'all. Uh,
Well, hopefully that scenario that I put forward about, hopefully somebody
Mm-hmm.
looking up the name Artemis,
Yeah.
maybe that's, you know, maybe that'll happen. Maybe that'll leave. Well, let me ask you this: since we're talking about mythology, for better or worse, how do y'all feel about Joseph Campbell?
Say this. Joseph Campbell is what? It's a myth.
no, Joseph Campbell
Myth.
is a guy on PBS that
Yeah,
does a lot of deconstructing of mythology.
I
yeah,
didn't. I you know what is? I think I've seen him doing things about the hero's journey
right,
thing.
right,
He was
right.
there, but I'm I don't. Well, I think that there's certain benefit to deconstructing mythology to find out what does it mean, but everybody takes something different out of it because, if I were, somebody who existed during, ancient Greek period, it would be different. I'm listening to these stories, it's telling me something very different from what it tells, a person who is alive right now. I look at a story, for instance, like Orpheus and Eurydice, and maybe I feel different about it than I did, especially when I was a kid. I see the story and I read it differently. And if you were in that time, would you see it or would you read it differently than you would now? This guy, he's so much in love with this woman that he meets, and he has these abilities, but in fact, that's one of the stories they do in the storyteller. And one of the issues that he has, like, he becomes so distraught and grief stricken when she dies that he plays, it doesn't just say no more music, he plays destructive music that drives people mad, and they just tear the place up. So when I was younger, so oh my gosh, how sad that he is so grief stricken. But when I got older, I thought, what a jerk. I know you're grief stricken, but then to take your grief and impose it on other people, you know, they'll grow up, deal with your grief in a way that's not destructive of others. So, from different, when we're sitting in different places in our lives, we see it differently, and people who are around different times in history
Right,
probably would see it differently.
right. Well, yeah, I understand that because certain things you see when you were younger, you
Mm-hmm.
tend to look at it differently at, like you
Yeah.
said, at different stages of your life.
Yeah.
You know,
We know.
But
then
but but to
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
me, it's like reading the Bible. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I read the Bible when I was younger, like 8, 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and then the parables of Jesus and all
Mm-hmm.
the other things, and it meant a certain thing. It was very linear, right? Because I'm a kid, I don't have experience or anything like that. But
Right, right.
then when you're older, you see as you live life, it's just you see it from a different perspective. Like
Exactly.
the prodigal son, or
Mm-hmm.
the talents of gold, and all
Yes.
those things,
Yeah.
and so you see him in a different light. And I think I get Campbell's deconstructing of a lot of that stuff, but I think that I didn't really think about a lot of the things the same way that he did, number one. And
Mm-hmm.
then number two, I think that if we want people to delve into this, and I think people
Mm-hmm.
should delve into these mythologies, I think we should make it less intimidating for them to do it. I
Yes.
think people may look at it and like, this intimidates me so much. It's bad enough I can't even pronounce the damn people names. It's
Yeah.
like it's like I don't want to, it's like I don't want to read Shakespeare on my own. I mean, I
Right.
guess there's
Right.
some
Right.
people that read Shakespeare on their own. I've never read Shakespeare for the heck of it. It was always either a play we had to do in class, or it
Mm-hmm.
was a assigned
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah.
But I never read Shakespeare for enjoyment. The Greek myths, the Roman myths, and the North mythology I read for enjoyment on my
Mm-hmm.
own.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens now. I don't think it happens.
Well,
No,
you got people who are like me. When I read certain things, I did them to read to completion. For instance, somebody says the complete works of someone, then I would read them. To do, I do it to completion. So if I had a volume of Shakespeare and I started, then I would read it to completion because I had the work and I'm going to read it to completion. So there are people like that too, who just get a thing and they, it's like the collector's mentality.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
that's like with me. My parents were very big on encyclopedias. Remember
Mhm.
those?
Yes.
And
Google.
we
Yeah.
yeah,
Now.
yeah, hardcore Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hard body Google
Yeah. Yeah.
is
There we
like,
go. Yeah.
but we also had, besides that, we had dictionaries, and it was a set of books we had that included the works of William Shakespeare, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle,
Mhm.
and I kid you not, after reading or trying to read
Mhm.
Macbeth, or put it this way, better, trying to read King Lear,
Yeah,
I was like,
Mhm.
I just can't.
it's a
But
struggle.
But
It's
yeah,
Mhm.
but
it's it's
it's a struggle. But what I came back to it, you know why?
Mhm.
Because I saw Ran. Um, what's the Japanese director? Kashihawa
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. Yeah. Um, when I saw Ran, and then at the end, because at
Mhm.
first I'm like, wait a minute, why is this story, you know,
Familiar to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then I found out that was based on King Lear, and I went
Mhm.
back to it, and then I started getting into other Shakespeare stories.
Mhm.
And one of the, I kid you not, it brought tears to my eyes because one of the best adaptations of Shakespeare that I ever saw was the one on Broadway with Denzel Washington.
Mhm.
Okay, it was it was deep.
What did he do?
Okay, Denzel's version. Okay, with he did Julius Caesar,
Ah.
but everybody dressed in, contemporary dress, modern times
Mhm.
dress, and also you had actors within the audience.
Oh,
Okay,
how cool.
yeah, and it's kind of unnerving too because it was a white actor that played C. I think he played C. No, he played a lesser part, but
Mhm.
he was up in the balcony with us, and
Mhm.
they just shined the spotlight on him. He jumped up, ain't nobody paying attention, and he just started his thing. And then the coolest thing I thought was there was this actor that played the homeless person,
Mhm.
and before the play started, he came on stage, and everybody's looking, and I'm looking down, and it's like,
Mhm.
What's this homeless dude doing?
Just
On
waltzing
stage?
onto the stage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's just sitting there in the dark. And then the lights came on and spotlighted him, and he went into the introduction.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know, and
Wow.
it was so cool.
I mean, and that sounds like something that, yeah, I would love
maybe
to.
maybe stuff like
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
spark people
Interest.
interest because I'm like James. I think Shakespeare, and one of my favorites is Macbeth. Is difficult to go through, and so I think I was lucky enough to have read it in the class setting, and so it helps
Mhm.
you guide through what is
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
saying here? What does
yeah,
he
Yeah.
mean by that? Let's
Yeah.
read that passage over again,
yeah,
and it's very helpful. And when you have actors who are saying Shakespeare,
hmm,
it depends on their phraseology.
That's
yeah,
right. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
There's a
I mean,
great skit on BBC somewhere. It was part of their Shakespeare celebration,
mhm.
where all the different actors who's played Hamlet come
I
out and give
saw
their
that. I
interpretation of
saw
their line.
that.
And then Judy Dench comes out and she said, "No, I haven't played it yet." And the emphasis on the yet, yes, yes, she wanted to, she would play it type thing. But
Mhm.
it does, the intonation, and it also helped me explain to somebody else that Shakespeare wasn't meant to be read in your head. It was meant to be spoken out loud. Like a
Mhm.
lot of the Caribbean folk tales and mythologies that I gave to my friends to read, they're like, "We can't read this. It's just because it's full of the language, the patois, and the rhythm and all of
Mhm.
that." So I always give them the advice: read it out loud. I know it's going to sound silly, but actually say the words
yeah,
out
Mhm.
loud as you're reading it. And I
Right.
get a lot of people going, "I never understood Shakespeare until then," or "I never understood fill
Mhm.
in the blank of
Yeah.
Caribbean mythology until I did that."
And
So I
it's
think,
one of the craziest things, but and it's going to sound silly, but I remember an episode of the Cosby Show where they had
Oh,
Roscoe Lee Brown, who to me was a very underrated actor,
mhm.
along with Christopher Plummer, and they were doing a scene. I forgot what Shakespeare play they were doing
From
it.
Othello.
Was it Othello?
I think it was Othello.
One of the most absolutely
Mhm.
delicious readings of Shakespeare I've ever heard.
Mhm.
well, with with Christopher Plummer and Roscoe Lee Brown,
Mhm.
if you got the old yellow pages and had them read the yellow
Yep.
pages, it would sound beautiful.
and Earl,
Bravo.
and Earl,
Bravo.
Earl Hyman right there with the one that played
Okay,
Grandpa.
you know,
Just absolutely
but
Yep.
a thing of absolute beauty.
but
Mhm.
now, and this is why I tell you guys, if y'all get the chance, try
Mhm.
and stream WVAI,
Mhm.
because a couple of months ago they played Paul Robeson doing Othello.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Was it good?
Okay, yes, very good.
And you know who
I mean, because
you know
the reason I ask is because I think people all the time talk about Sir Lawrence Olivier doing Hamlet,
he
and
was
he's not.
horrible.
Yeah, he's not good.
I saw them.
Mhm.
Of course, I had to
Not
read it.
good.
We
Mhm.
had to read it in high school. We had to read Hamlet.
Yeah.
Everybody read Hamlet,
Mhm.
and I read it, and it was
No,
some
I
parts I
have
liked, but
Yeah.
Sir Lawrence Olivier was
He was
horrible.
terrible.
no, I have him. Actually have a box set of Olivier doing Hamlet.
He's
Okay,
quite terrible.
and I'm sorry, he can't compare
Mm-hmm.
to Robeson. Just
Yeah.
like he couldn't. To me, anything that Orson Welles did is like King Lear.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that
Wow.
Orson Welles and Robeson, they had those voices.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Okay, I mean,
voice and the phraseology that
yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
Yeah.
sense. They put
yeah,
the right emphasis on the right
The right
words,
word, and so you understand what they're saying.
yeah.
I,
one of our enemies, of course, Penelope likes is Mel Gibson's reading of Hamlet.
Mel Gibson does the best Hamlet I've ever seen. I mean, see Kenneth Branagh. I've seen, of course, Sir Laurence Olivier. See others do it, but he does the best Hamlet because you actually understand his phraseology is excellent, and you understand everything that he's saying. And
Now, play is and this mythology, um, that I suggest to anybody that's going to get into mythology and plays and stories and all that,
Mm-hmm.
not to go to this first. Go to all this other stuff we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Is I can't even pronounce or remember the name of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's an Indian play that lasts about close to 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do? You go like for several days and watch it?
You have to first of all you have to be ready for the endurance. Okay? Because they when it played in New York, it played for just a couple of dates
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be ready for it.
They make you stay there for 12 hours.
No, I think
Have an
I,
intermission. You know,
yeah,
you
No,
know,
no,
but
but
you know, it
still,
reminds me. No, that
huh?
reminds me of
Huh?
the films that they show in New York
Mm-hmm.
and plays they show in New York. They're like that, and it's a challenge. You know, it's
yeah.
like the Battleship Potomac. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's
Yeah.
very long. And the other show, what's the Dickens play that's very long like that?
Nicholas Nickleby.
Nicholas Nickleby.
Yeah.
These are challenges.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah. With the Battleship Potemkin, you got to bring your lunch, your dinner.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's a
You
thing.
know,
It's a thing. It's okay. You're not gonna outdo me,
Yeah, you want to be able to say, "I did it. I met the
right?
challenge.
And the
I
same thing,
did it."
same thing with Nicholas Nickleby.
Yeah.
And I
I can.
remember they showed Nicholas Nickleby on
Mhm.
PBS, and it
Yes.
was over several days and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, 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 you ain't no several days on Broadway. You don't
Yeah.
take your ass there. You
Oh
I,
my
I,
gosh.
I
I got a
can't.
lot.
I can't remember the name of this play, and it's about. I believe it's about two gods in India that
Mm-hmm.
went to war with each other. Okay, but it's a long ass play.
I
It's a
love
Mm-hmm.
it. It's
long
a challenge.
yeah.
Bring it back.
No
Bring it
thanks.
back. I put on my Depends and
Okay.
a picnic basket. It
Okay.
will not defeat
Ah,
me. It will
okay.
not defeat me.
Uh, six pack
Uh,
of Red Bull.
That's right.
yeah,
It's
okay.
not going to defeat me.
Okay, y'all. You
I
enjoy
go
Well,
that.
that's
15 rounds. I'm old school. I'm 15 rounds.
well,
None
that's
of this
how
10 or
Shakespeare
12 round thing.
how
Mhm.
Shakespeare was originally enjoyed. People brought their
Yeah,
people, sat down, ate, heckled, talked back to the actors,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
That sounds good to me. I like that. I like that kind of
Yeah.
experience.
I know.
But here's a question.
I
Here's
want
a
to go
question.
home.
Here's a question I have for everyone. It seems to me, parsing out these mythological films, you
Mm-hmm.
have Jason and the Argonauts, you have Clash of the Titans, you have these
Mm-hmm.
Roman and Greek mythology films,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a sort of like what is it like a Middle Eastern or
Yes.
Arabian films like
Yeah. Yeah.
Sinbad
yeah,
and all this
Aladdin.
Yes.
Aladdin, the Thief of Baghdad,
Hmm.
all this
Yeah.
stuff. They're different, kind of same genre, but different kind of
Mm-hmm.
philosophies. You hear one say, "Oh, for the praise of Allah and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that," and then the other they'll talk about we have to give sacrifice to the Greek gods.
Mm-hmm.
If you were comparing the both genres, kind of, which would you think is best?
I think Greek mythology, we think it's more well known only because people probably don't realize where Sinbad comes from. But I think Greek mythology gets a whole lot more play nowadays.
The
I think,
films, the films.
yeah, I mean, it's like women like the Disney Hercules, but they also did Disney Aladdin. So, which ones are getting the most play? What types of stories?
And I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
part of the fear is when Disney gets a hold of them, the stories are come. They may have the same seed, but they
Mhm.
germinate a whole lot differently than the original stories.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like you were saying
And
earlier, Percy Jackson,
uh-huh.
they take that and they've, made
First,
that
yeah,
into, some sort of, what,
Percy Jackson, I think, was the first time where they actually showed the dark consequence. Disney showed the dark consequences of
mm-hmm,
dealing with the gods.
mm-hmm,
The gods aren't always your friends, but by that same token, it made it more. I guess it's more accessible for today's audience because a lot of kids grow up thinking people higher up aren't don't have my best interest at heart.
exactly. But they are self-interested, and as
Yeah,
long as you do what it is that they want,
yeah.
then you're cool. But
But
when
when we were
people
growing
out
up,
of that,
yeah,
yeah,
when we were growing up, we had that innate respect for authority type thing. It wasn't,
see,
there
but
were some people of authority we could still look up to, where
yeah,
kids now don't look up to anybody.
yeah, they're very again
Yeah,
cynical.
yeah. So I think, like James was saying, because there's so much, or you and James were saying, there's so much Greek influence. Greek is more noticeable in
Hmm.
our language today, the
Yes,
mythologies, where the other mythologies have to get
yeah,
up that hill first. And
yeah,
I
and
think that
Yeah.
also,
with the rise, Nollywood, with the
hmm,
Kenyan, the
hmm,
Nigerian film industry starting to pick up, we might see that eventually with the African mythologies.
yeah, maybe because I don't see very many, or I don't recognize them when I see them because I didn't have that background.
Right.
So
Uh,
it comes down to basically civil, civil, Western
Yeah,
civilization.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you
Gesundheit.
go.
It's the influence, and yeah, it makes sense. I mean, for years, believe it or not, for years, and Otto should know this. If you went into a diner or a deli or something, you asked for a coffee. 9 times out of 10, the coffee cup that they put it in had the
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 blue
blue
rim.
yeah, the blue rim with the
Mm-hmm.
Greek
Yep.
on it. Yeah. Uh,
Because a lot of the diners were owned by
right.
the Greek immigrants.
Yeah,
So that,
cheeseburger.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so I love that diversity, but the thing is if you had to choose between watching films, right? If you had to choose between Seventh Voyage of Sinbad or
Mm-hmm.
Jason and the Argonauts, which one would you choose?
Oh, I take
Um,
Jason and the
yeah,
Argonauts.
yeah, probably just the
Yeah,
Argonauts.
you know. Listen, nothing for nothing. I will go to YouTube just to find the last part of the movie with with the skeletons.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
now see,
would you be?
mine is a completely different. Mine would be Thief of Baghdad
No,
because
wait
I
a
had
minute. Wait, I got to that yet. You're
okay,
talking about these two choices, Jason and the Argonauts and the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. And would you be surprised if I told you that they also have a skeleton fighting scene in the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it. I
Yeah,
remember it.
but you like the
Yeah.
Jason and the Argonauts better, the scene better.
Yeah, because
They remember they start, they're walking and they
yeah,
stop. When they start, when they scream, oh my God, that was so scary.
Well, between
yeah,
those, well,
Yeah,
Bernard Herman does the
yeah.
composition for both, and
yeah,
he uses the xylophone or the bones
yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
to to
Mm-hmm.
to musically guide you through that. So Jason and the Argonauts or Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Again, I'd have to say, uh, I'd have to say Jason and the Argonauts because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a iconic scene. I mean, just the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. He throws the bones on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and he's anticipating you know, things that happen so much. He's licking his lips, and he's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, gotta go with that.
So Sonia,
I would be contrary to them at Sinbad only because it would feel more exotic.
Hmm.
Sinbad for me feels more mythological, where Jason, because everybody's been doing it, feels more
Yeah.
contemporary.
Yeah.
Penelope.
I would have to pick those specific films. Then I would pick Jason and Argonauts.
Jason and Argonauts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those specific films that you're saying.
okay,
The yeah.
because it's what Greek Roman kind of thing, or just that one scene, like James said, the skeleton scene.
No, it's just that the Sinbad film that you have chosen, I don't think is as good as Jason and the Argonauts.
They're done by the same people, but you think it's Jason and Argonauts is better.
Yeah, I mean, they really go into it. They have the evil king, and then of course the story of Medea. She becomes involved in this. A lot of characters, that we knew growing up, and then they're all folded into this, uh, this film. So yeah, in a way, Jason the Argonauts for that reason, I think, is better than that the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. You know,
Okay, so Jason and Argonauts versus Clash of the Titans.
that's easy enough. Jason the Argonauts. Clash of the
Yeah,
Titans was a wreck, man. That was a
yeah,
wreck.
and it with Clash of the Titans, right?
Yeah.
Not only was it not only
Hmm.
was it a good film, but I kind of felt that by then you ever see a movie where a actor that your favorite actor, they look tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with that Clash of the Titans, I kind of felt that Harryhausen had got tired,
Mm,
you know,
yeah.
which is understandable because if you gotta move an arm just to make an arm move, you gotta move it like 30
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, but also remember they put that stupid mechanical looking owl. It's like,
Right,
come on, y'all, do some work.
right.
Do
So
some work.
I think Clash of the Titans by then he was, it was time to right off into the sunset. Plus,
Or uh,
he was competing with the new technology
true.
with Star Wars type special
Hmm.
effects.
That's true.
It
And
was
but
kind
then
of tired. It was kind of
yeah,
tired. But so there's a unanimous effect of
yeah,
no Clash of the Titans.
yeah. In fact, I think remembering back to the time when the film came out, that people were saying that the because the effects were dated, you know.
That was in the 1980s, right?
Yeah, and they said it was
Yeah,
the effects were dated.
yeah,
And,
Okay,
yeah.
what
There's
what about Jason and the Argonauts? Since Jason the Argonaut seems to be
mm,
the champion so far, what about that versus the Thief of Baghdad?
of course, the Thief of Baghdad. I mean, that goes without saying. That's what a beautiful film the Corda brothers did. Magnificent job. I
okay.
mean,
That's you talking about with Sabu.
yes, what a
Okay,
beautiful film.
is that is that the film where the giant spider I think is coming after him or something like that at one.
Yes, yes. When
Hmm.
he goes into the temple.
Oh no, I can't mess with that film.
What? What's wrong?
No,
You
no.
scared of the spiders? You
Yeah,
scared?
I don't like the spiders, and then
Yeah.
you have a choice. Either you're eaten by the spiders or you're eaten by what are that squids, whatever down the bottom.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't mess with that movie. No.
Nah,
That is a great
I've
film.
got family history with Thief of Baghdad and college history. So that one's always stuck in. That's always been a family.
It's here. Yeah, what's up?
My teacher. Okay, I had a film. My first film teacher, well, second film teacher, would always show clips of film, and so he would always bring in when we got to talk about
Yeah.
special effects, The Thief of Baghdad, because in the original, the one with I can't remember which swashbuckler it was. Right, the second. Um, there's a scene with the great ape and its handlers, and
Right.
we got to see behind the scenes of how they made it because his father was one of the handlers.
Oh.
So we got to see behind the scenes, and then my mom sat in on the second day of the talk of that film, and she told about the story about how when she first came to America and they discovered TV, she and her brother decided to play sick and not go to church one Saturday, and was watching Thief of Baghdad, and just when it was getting to the Sabu one, and just when it was getting to the good part, they heard their family coming up the stairs, so they had to turn off the TV, and how they pretended to never have. No, we didn't touch the TV. It's Sabbath. Of course, we didn't turn on the TV, not realizing that back then TV hot. People can tell that you just had it on for like an hour or so.
Wow,
And
that's what you
so
call lockdown.
yeah, my mom comes. My mom, then she moves to Florida. We're watching Thief of Baghdad on TV. It gets to the exact same point where she had to turn it off when she was younger, and we have a blackout, and she doesn't get to see the ending of it. She didn't get to see the ending of it until she came to class with me, and my teacher had a special movie night after, and we watched the entire movie, and she got to see the end of it. So it took her
Wow.
almost 30
So
years,
what part was it
40
that
years.
she
I
had
don't
to
even
jump?
remember right now.
Wow.
I just remember her getting so mad when the blackout happened, and I didn't understand why. And she goes, "Oh, it's not important. It's not important."
I had
Wow.
to
So
admit
when
that
the
I
teacher,
love that film. Yeah.
yeah, so
Hmm.
when the teacher
Okay,
showed the full one and seeing her cry because she had finally gotten to see the ending of it.
Cool.
okay. Was that with Douglas Fairbanks Jr.?
The
No, 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 no.
senior, Douglas
See,
Fairbanks Senior, the original,
You mean
I
the
think.
Latin or
No,
the Thief
Thief
of
of
Baghdad? Oh
Thief
yeah,
of
that was the
Baghdad.
Fairbanks one was garbage.
okay, because I with Douglas Fairbanks Jr. I know we're going off topic, but I actually ran into him.
I
Really?
mean, did you
Yeah,
we ran you hit him
Literally
with your
ran
car?
into him.
You hit him with your
I
car?
no, no. What it was, I was doing messenger work at Rockefeller Center, NBC,
Hmm.
and I'm down on the lower level, walking towards the train station, and I'm trying to get. Listen, I got it. Listen, Goodrich, get this package to across town quick. So I'm trying to get there, and I bump into somebody with a lime green suit,
Wow.
and he had a lime green suit. I'll never forget, and a green striped shirt with a white collar. Had the handkerchief in his pocket, and he had on like I guess it was a Panama hat,
Hmm.
and his mustache is neat, and he just smiled and tipped his hat and kept going. And I'm like,
He was a guy.
yeah, yeah, and
He was a guy.
that shows you how freaking long ago that was too.
Hmm.
But
Shit.
Lime
but
green, huh?
some
Cool.
people are guys. And he was a guy.
Hmm.
But I think Thief of Baghdad is would win out for me as
Hmm.
well. And I don't know if people remember this Disney version of
The Arabian Nights.
Aladdin,
It's the Arabian Nights. I just posted
Arabian
the
Nights,
theme right here on it.
and it was John Leguizamo was in it. I think that's one of
Hmm.
the.
Oh my god.
I think and who else was in it? I think was it Bruce Lee? Not no, the guy who played Bruce Lee.
Oh, now his name went in and out of my head because he played the role of
Jason
Aladdin.
Lee?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
he wasn't. But he wasn't related to Bruce
No, he
Lee.
wasn't. He
No,
wasn't. He just
no.
had the same last
He had
name.
the same
Yeah.
last name, so he was in there. And I has anyone have you seen that, you guys?
Yes, Jason Scott Lee. So James Frayne was in it. He played the king. Um, John Leguizamo was the genie of the lamp, and Rufus Sewell was Ali Baba and the
Right,
Alibaba.
right, right,
And
right,
it was
right.
really
I
good.
I remember hearing about it, but it must came and went. Oh,
And
wow.
Andy Serkis was in it. He's the brother of the
Right.
king.
It is a fantastic story.
It is. It really is. I don't know. Let me see right now. I'm going to see right here where you can find it. It
On
says
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Frostum, Roku. Yeah,
It's on YouTube.
yeah, Prime Video, Amazon, yeah, and YouTube. I guess also find it on YouTube. It's fantastic, and yeah, fantastic.
Back when television did miniseries. Back remember
Mm-hmm.
those days?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, in between those two, well, if you haven't seen it, so I guess you can't really
this
judge it.
has the most fantastic effects, best effects.
And
You know.
it's really true to his storyline
Mm-hmm.
because this is the first time that I ever knew there was a not only a genie of the lamp but a genie of the
With the
ring.
ring, yeah.
Okay. If if you guys want a movie based on, I guess, myths, um, there's a movie called 1,000 Nights.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was like a B movie knockoff
Mm-hmm.
of the Arabian Nights, but it has a it has a strange backstory because if you see one of the harem girls,
Mm-hmm.
okay, one of the harem girls is not really a harem girl. Say no, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
Mm-hmm.
Say no more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was actually a performer from England that had a minor ska reggae hit,
Hmm.
and then she decided to move to Spain. She also had the distinction of confronting the Reverend Billy Graham in London.
Hmm.
Okay, because he wasn't obviously he wasn't too crazy about her lifestyle
Hmm.
or her or I guess her transition. Um, yeah, it's not, of course it's a B movie, so it's not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
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 But
And I.
it seems like the thief of Baghdad is the reigning king now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would
Um,
say if you scoot over to this mini series, the
that's pretty
Arabian
good.
Nights,
Pretty good.
that would be my I moved that, but of course has the benefit of also being several, tales that last, over
That's
several
true.
days.
It's
Yeah,
not one
so
tale. It's several.
right,
Yeah,
and excellent, excellent. I mean, like I said, the effects are fantastic.
Oh, and if anybody here has Netflix, there was a series on Netflix called Myths and
Mm-hmm.
Monsters that
Mm-hmm.
was very good.
and of course the Jim Henson series
Yeah,
is also
storytelling,
very good. But
storytelling.
the thing is, and this is not mythology, but just
Mm-hmm.
this is something I want to bring up that bothers me. There's Walt Disney. I tell you how Walt Disney messes stuff up. There's a Disney, of course, Pinocchio. Everybody knows Pinocchio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows Jiminy Cricket, and Pinocchio nose getting long and all that stuff like that. So I we didn't go to the movies because we ain't had no money. We broke, right? But I read the Pinocchio book, and so I saw the book before I saw the movie, and I'm like, this movie ain't nothing like the book. And I think most people, if you ask them about Pinocchio, they don't know anything about the book. All they really know is the movie. Like Jiminy Cricket lives and does all this stuff. The cricket, no spoiler alert. Is there spoiler alert for this? But the
Not
cricket
really,
died.
yeah.
The cricket dies early on and gets killed, gets smashed
Mm-hmm.
early on by Pinocchio in the book.
Yeah, because I mean that's symbolic of the fact that he had chosen that he's not going to have a conscience
Yeah, stop telling me what to do.
early on.
Smash. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
There's no
again,
singing. There's no top hat. There's no. I'm telling you what to do. I'm just you dead gone. You're a roach. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
well, again, Pinocchio, he's another one of the oldest public domain
Mm-hmm.
um characters out there. I mean, I have a DVD somewhere where there was a Canadian TV show, and it was mainly about what's his name, Geppetto.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Geppetto.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, and of all people to play the part in this TV show was you've heard of the actor and you saw him 1,000 times, Vito Scotti.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Geppetto in that Canadian TV show.
Huh.
And, yeah. Um. So there. Yeah. I'm
That
not
bothered
surprised.
me. That bothered me, man.
I listen. It would bother me too.
And then Del Toro did a reboot of Pinocchio that was on Netflix. I said, oh boy, Del Toro is
Mm-hmm.
going to really tell the true story. Now I'm going to hear the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same goddamn Walt Disney thing.
But also, I'm going to say it was not a pretty film. It's not
It was ugly.
unwatchable for
Yeah, it was
me.
ugly and involved Nazis and stuff. I said, what the hell is this?
Yeah, fascist, what you call
Why
it
are
thing.
Nazis
Yeah.
in this?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
again, public domain. I guess people feel that they should interpret
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Thor or Hercules or Jason or
Yep.
Don't interpret
Pinocchio.
shit. Just tell the story.
Well,
well,
a lot of directors want to put their
I
imprint on
think it
things.
yeah,
stinks.
I mean, I hate it when a writer writes something and then some director decides to change it. Look, if you want it changed, you should have written it yourself.
I think
Stop
it
changing
stinks.
stuff. I don't
Yeah.
like that. I said,
Right.
right? Because when I read the book and I come to the theater to see it, I come to the theater to see if it looks the way that it does in my head. I
You
right.
don't
and the thing
come
is,
to see a director
it's
make
not that they're
changes
adding,
himself.
and it's not like they're adding, good stuff.
No.
It's not adding stupid shit,
Yeah. I mean, things
like
that
dumb
just,
shit.
yeah, it's stuff, but you look at it and say, how is this any better than the story that I came here to see? You know?
People don't know the real Pinocchio story,
Mhm.
and that's a problem, right? People don't know the real Hercules story. That's a problem.
Yeah.
People don't know the real Aladdin, Sinbad, the Sailor stories, and that's a problem.
Well,
And so
that
it's like this new stuff has taken its place, and the old stuff is like
Right.
completely gone.
And they can tell you anything, and you would believe it because this is the name that they put on. In fact, we have seen that recently when you have a tale or somebody calls themselves a thing, and they're not that thing, but people hear it and then they believe it. Like you know, certain people calling themselves certain deities and stuff like that. That no, you're not. Excuse me.
I mean,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, at one point both DC and Marvel had their versions of Hercules.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
You know,
did. They're both bad.
yeah,
Ha! And
you
both
know,
bad. There we go.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, but you talk about James. You talk about the Hercules, the animated TV show from
Yes.
I think Lux Cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
right.
and then he had a ring he put on, and then like, and
Yeah.
then he had a centaur that you can beat him
Yeah.
up, Herc, beat him up. What the
Yeah.
hell is
Look at
this?
him.
What is this?
Yeah.
but
Well, if you read
Kick his
it,
ass, Kurt.
just kind of
Kick
like,
his ass, Herc. Kick
okay,
his
there we go.
ass. Kick
Okay,
his
very
ass.
nice.
But it
Okay.
wasn't. There was nothing like that in none of the Greek myth.
Well, I
and,
mean,
and,
they are making it so they think that it's
yeah,
more palatable for the child audience,
No,
yeah. That
man.
that
No,
no, but
no.
that goes.
and things that they recognize, like a magic ring, so that gives
A
Yeah,
you
magic
power.
ring with an H on it, and then
You
he was
know.
holding up in the air like He Man or something, and lightning
Mm-hmm.
and stuff would come
and,
down.
Mm-hmm.
and you got to remember that cartoon from Translux, right?
Mm-hmm.
It came out, I would say, the early to mid '60s. So I think they saw how the Silver Age superheroes of DC
Right.
and
Right.
Marvel,
Right.
so they jumped on the bandwagon. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something else. Not only did those artists that that did that created the character
Mm-hmm.
for the cartoon, not only did they get paid lousy wages, but they also worked in like damn near sweatshop conditions up in
Wow.
Canada.
That's
They
messed
Yeah.
worked.
up.
They did animation in a warehouse that had very little heat.
Wow.
Okay, so they suffered for
Slave
it.
labor.
Slave
Wow.
labor, yeah, and they didn't
Kick
get
their
paid.
ass, Herc. Kick his ass. Kick his ass, Herc. And so that was crazy. That's crazy. But you know what? They had one of the
Mm-hmm.
best songs
Mm-hmm.
Oh
from the guy.
man,
What is the name of the artist that said I can see
uh,
clearly now?
yeah, yeah,
Johnny Nash.
Yeah, he was great.
yeah.
That was a great song, man. He
It
sang the
was,
hell out of
it
that
He's
was,
song.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think that at that time they were jumping on the bandwagon because they saw that the Silver Age,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel and DC characters were doing good because at that time it was like a revival of the
Mm-hmm.
superhero. And when you look at it, speaking of Marvel and DC, maybe who knows, maybe 100 years from now, 200 years from now, they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
looked upon as mythical.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna supplant,
Yeah,
the Jason and Argonauts and all the stuff, the Ray Harryhausen stuff is gonna be supplanted.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's why when Apollo said that, or what was it? Rather, Kirk said that in Who Mourns for Adonis that we moved on.
Yeah, we don't need you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, um,
And he faded away.
Yep.
yeah. Now, I tell you, with Native American, characters in mythology, they're interesting because you have upstate New York, you have what they call the Winnebago,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and you have also uh oh God, I forgot the name of it because I used to work with a Native American artist. It's a rabbit. I think they called the trickster.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard of the trickster rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Native Americans, they had the mythology. I could be wrong, but I think Br'er
The
Rabbit,
rabbit. Yep.
Hmm.
that's African, African American,
But
you
why
know,
was it? If that's the case, why is it? Why does it seem weaponized against black people?
Mm-hmm.
because the author that wrote the Br'er Rabbit books was a white
Mm-hmm.
man
Mm-hmm.
that didn't know what the hell he was doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So of course he's gonna weaponize it, make us look stupid, you know, and portray us like that, you know.
But
Um,
I remember on American Gods when Orlando Jones was doing the
Wow.
Nancy the
Nancy the
Spider.
Spider Man. Wow.
I thought that story was so insipidly weak.
Yeah.
But when Orlando Jones did it for American Gods,
Wow.
it just made so much sense, and it was straightforward and it
wait a
was
minute,
really good.
what's the name again?
American
Anansi the
Gods.
Spider in American
Spider
Gods.
Man.
Oh, a
Yeah.
Nazi the Spider.
Anansi
Mm-hmm.
the
Well,
Spider. He was on the
actually,
ship. He was on
yeah,
a slave ship in America. I don't know if you remember the scene, but he was
Mm-hmm.
on a
yeah,
slave
I
ship.
saw,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I thought that
yeah.
was really
Well,
good.
you can find the spider in a lot of Caribbean folklore.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to ask you guys about. I mean, I'm not familiar with Caribbean mythology and folklore,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that a lot of the West African, like I told you, the West African folklore was like how the spider got his spots. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. He got spots.
But even like the
So,
Nancy the Spider Man stories were not compelling for me when I was growing up.
so I want to know more about the Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
mythologies. Are they compelling, Sonia? Since you mentioned them.
For me, they are because they're part of my heritage.
Well, despite your
But
heritage, I mean,
it's yeah.
are they good and
I mean,
strong?
it all depends on who's interpreting it. Like for you, when you said you didn't care about the leopard getting his spots, if
No, I
you
didn't
had the
care.
right interpreter, that might be
Mm-hmm.
important. But the gods, I'm trying to think how to compare the gods and their stories. They're more like the gods have forsaken us, but then they realize that the gods have been an influence in their lives all this time, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So it's more of a coming to realization or people turning into the characters of the myth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cannot remember. Greedy Choke Puppy is this woman. I think it was the woman, if I'm remembering it correctly, who she was greedy. And people keep telling her, you keep acting greedy like that, you're going to turn into a greedy choke puppy.
Hmm.
And you don't quite understand what it is. And now that I'm helping care for 3 dogs, I get to see it in action. When they
So what
eat so
happened?
fast, their food gets caught in the trash. She just caught up in all her stuff because she wanted more and more and more. And so I think, and so the gods were like, okay, fine. You want to turn into a greedy chuck puppy? We turn you into a greedy chuck puppy.
And what happened to her? She turned to a
Um,
dog.
she not she developed more dog like personality type things, and not
Mm-hmm.
the cute puppy,
Mm-hmm.
but the aggressive, I want more type. When you see a dog, when you feed a dog and it keeps going, I want more, that sort of thing. And then she had to come back and find herself again, to get back to
So
herself.
she was redeemed.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay,
eventually. But
eventually.
Eventually. Okay.
no, Caribbean gods make you suffer. They're not petty like Greek gods, but if you've done something wrong, you gotta really earn your way back.
Well,
Uh,
it's like
but they're
we talk.
mostly the West African gods
Mm-hmm.
Caribbeanized for what whatever is whatever the region.
Mm-hmm.
Because Caribbean mythology is
Well,
definitely
what's the name? What's give us some names of some Caribbean gods like that. Like,
well,
who's the
well,
top
no,
person?
there's no real top. It depends on it. Every god is more. It's more nature based. So if you
Mm-hmm.
do something where the wind's going to drive you crazy, that's when Oya is the major god.
So
It's whatever this.
there's no pyramid of
No, there's no
hierarchy of.
real hierarchy. That's
Uh,
whoever you've pissed off
Mm.
is the one who deals with you.
Okay, that sounds fair.
well, give us a name, like one name.
Um, I'm trying to remember the one that was in Greedy Choke Puppy, and I cannot remember right now.
Well,
Um,
we talked about like these Greek and Roman gods and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
phraseologies and sayings that are not used in the younger generation. And I was thinking about King Midas, and someone was trying to come up with an opposite an
Mm-hmm.
opposite version of King Midas for the person who's in the White House right now.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't think of it, and I know I came up with an idea called the fecal King Midas.
Yeah,
Like
the
everything he touches doesn't actually turn to gold, but turns to fecal matter.
just a crap.
Right. So in the Caribbean thing, the King Midas. Well, number one, I think younger people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the King Midas
Mm-hmm.
story,
Construct.
but
Yeah.
in the Caribbean stories, do people get like they come up and like a King Midas when they ask for like in a choke puppy thing that not now
again,
now instead of we used to say you become a partner in a law firm
mhm.
it's like getting in a pie eating contest and the
Mm-hmm.
prize is more pie.
Yeah.
So is it something like that?
It's more that your ancestors help bring you back. I was just reading a synopsis of Greedy Choke Puppy. I forgot about the vampiric creature that was trying to hunt for her and send her down the path, which is why she wanted more, 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 more. She was
Mm-hmm.
actually feeding the and it and they how did soyakant instead of succubant, it's soyakant. And so her grandmother is the one who brings her back, helps her find her way back. So it's like more like listen to your ancestors; they know exactly what they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about, type thing.
Well, that's instructional because I think the young people today, as we were saying on the show, they don't seem to be looking back too much.
Right.
I can't blame them for that, but I think they also lose out on a lot
Yeah,
too.
No, well, part of that is boomers and Generation X. That's that's our fault. Both boomers and Generation X,
Mm-hmm.
because we kind of dominated culture for so long that some millennials, Gen Z, even in between Gen Y, they
Mm-hmm.
feel that we kind of stole their fun thunder. That's why
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it, there's no real fashion trends. Everybody dresses like they want to these days,
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing really to follow. But getting back to King Midas, I
mhm.
think you can find a stop motion version of King Midas.
Really?
Yeah, by I think Ray Harryhausen. He
I've
might
never
be.
seen that, I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Oh, there was a series actually for the movies where they did Rapunzel, I think King Midas, and Little Red Riding Hood, all stop motion. And I
I
just
don't
want,
everything I don't think I recall that.
yeah,
Somebody
and
else?
then here's a good Caribbean book called Antsy Stories.
Antsy stories.
Yeah, and Nancy Stories.
Anansi, the Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, and is it was done by Pamela Coleman Smith. Okay, again, she was a medium, and she also, whenever you see the standard set of tarot cards,
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that designed them. Okay, and some people in the occult community, some people say that she was part Jamaican, part white. Some people try to say no, she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. But if you see pictures of her, you could pretty much see, the colors there,
Mm-hmm.
and also she was from Brooklyn.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was Brooklyn. Her grandfather was the mayor of Brooklyn before consolidation. But if you get this book and Nancy stories,
Mm-hmm.
like Sonia said, it's best to read it out loud. Okay, because like Shakespeare, if you try to read it in your head, it's not gonna
But
work.
people would think I'm crazy reading a book out loud. You know, the last time I read a book out loud, I mean, other than to a child, to read it to myself, I
Mm-hmm.
sound like I belong in a special class or something. You know,
Well,
That,
just go up in
read
the
it.
attic.
Yeah, find a
going
nice corner,
at it.
find a curl up in a rocking chair or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
just sit and read it to yourself.
Or
Yeah,
Out
you can
loud.
get it like on a program of things and have it
I can
read
move
to
my
you,
lips.
but have it read to you like
Yeah,
an audible thing. Have it
or
read
yeah,
to
yeah,
you.
yeah. Have it
Get
get
it
read.
audible. Yeah, get it
yeah.
Yeah,
audible.
get an
Cause
audible.
I'm not reading. I'm not reading on. They're gonna put
Listen,
me in a special place. Penelope finds me reading out loud. She's gonna put me in a special place.
I
well,
wouldn't do that to you.
I don't think you would have to do that for her to put you in a special place.
Yeah, you're
Thank you,
probably right
ladies and
about that
gentlemen.
too.
Now,
You're
thank you
probably
for
right
your
about that too.
thank you for your contributions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Hey,
But
you.
huh?
but
But
no,
I want to see a movie. I want to see a movie about Hercules and his 12 labors that apparently have
Yeah,
never
the
been done.
real 12 labors of Hercules, right? Showing all the real labors.
well, could they do it in one movie? Wouldn't
It would
that
No, I
have
be
to
think
like?
be
it's
a it would have to be a series.
yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it's make good a good Netflix series, but all the without all the ancillary BS that goes
Mm-hmm.
into series. I want to see him, clean the stables. I want to see him get Cerebus.
Yeah,
I
get
want to
you.
see him lift. I want
Yeah,
to see him take Atlas's place.
yeah.
They did try to do it in the Hercules series before it became a TV series. Back when it was the special movie,
Mm-hmm.
when they were doing special movie once a month, they did start to do the seven things, and then it got popular. And when it got popular and became a series, they kind of abandoned all that.
Mm.
Okay,
See,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When it comes to the Hercules the series, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
liked, even
which I
though
hated that series.
which I after the series I had a problem with.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Andromeda too. But be that as it may, um, when that series first came on, right? Weren't you
Mm-hmm.
guys kind of like at first like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like Hercules?
Yes,
Oh,
I
I was. Oh
did.
no,
I
definitely not.
did.
Well,
No.
I mean, I
well,
know it
for,
made sense. Okay, I guess it makes sense if you're a god or whatever, that you don't have to actually be big in order for you to do these things. But still, I thought
No,
he
he
should
looked
be a
like a
little
dude.
more beefy, than
No, I
what he
mean you don't have
was.
to be like you don't have to be looking like Steve Reeves with your pecs is flexing and
I
all
know, but
that. But
still, it should be a little more beefy, a little more
Well,
beefy.
my thing was more with the costumes, because
yeah, that too. It looked real cheap.
Yep,
I mean,
one
Sam
minute,
yep.
Raimi like a
Should
high
change
school
itself.
play.
hey, look, one minute looked like a Renaissance fair, the next
Mm-hmm.
minute
Yeah,
Yeah, it was bad,
yeah,
and the
exactly.
cinematography was bad. It looked like I had somebody put Vaseline on my eyeballs.
Thank you.
It was not good. It was not good. I didn't
Yeah.
like it, and it wasn't good. But somebody should do 12 Labors of Hercules, and they should bring back a Ray Harryhausen,
Hmm.
protege or something, and
Yeah.
not do CGI, not do any of that stuff.
And and
well,
actually, when you all were talking about that, that's the thing I wanted to ask. That you all know a lot about the Ray Harryhausen stuff, but did he have any proteges? Somebody that would come out behind him to maintain that
if
type of artwork, that type
I
of animation.
I think he did, but what happened to that person, I don't know, because actually he was the protege of the person that did King Kong.
Willis
Mm-hmm.
O'Brien.
Yeah, Willis O'Brien. So I think he did, but I don't think that person did a lot. I think Ray Harryhausen felt that he had to do most of
Mm-hmm.
the work himself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I mean, again, I think by Clash of the Titans, the man was tired because
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work, and that skeleton thing that you love so much almost
Mm-hmm.
killed the man. Killed him
Yeah,
because the stop action is so intricate.
Mm-hmm.
It
yeah.
takes so long to do, and you have to be so disciplined. I don't know if you have people today who would
Have the
subject it,
discipline. Yeah,
who would
to
No,
do that.
subject themselves to it.
no, they nobody would have. In fact, in fact, until they stopped, they took it away for some. Well, they said
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't want to use it anymore. What's the sofa, the AI?
Mm-hmm.
You actually had people who were doing little AI, little vignettes or little
Mm-hmm.
movies or whatever that they would use sofa or AI to give that stop motion effect.
Mm-hmm.
Did it work?
I should say so. You know,
Yeah.
I'm on the fence with AI, but it looked like
Mm-hmm. But then get
something.
it. Yeah. Stop
Yeah,
action.
yeah.
Mm.
Just like some people were using it to give that marionette effect.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were using it to make like retro looking science fiction and horror films that give you that technicolor
Mm-hmm.
I
look.
was going to say the
Yeah,
closest
cool.
to Ray Harryhausen would have been Phil Tippett, who did the effects for Star Wars. He did the those big
Yeah,
AT-ATs, and I
yeah,
just found some stuff on there. He's probably the closest, but he wasn't a direct protege.
yeah. I would
I wish they
say.
would do that.
Well, let me ask you that: did he do the little game thing in the the part where it was it Chewbacca and I think
The
uh
the chess like game. I think
yeah,
so. I can't find
Mm. And
anything.
that was an interesting thing. That did remind me a lot of Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah, but the AT-ATs were stop
Mm-hmm.
action
Mm-hmm.
in
Oh yeah.
Empire. Was it what the Snow Planet? I can't
But the
remember.
question is, can they do it as long as do the longest scene as Harryhausen's scenes? Because
Well,
Harryhausen's scenes are long.
the AT-AT one was fairly long.
yeah,
I'm down for it. I mean, the thing is that the stuff we grew up with, the marionettes, and you say, "Oh man, I see the strings." I didn't mind the strings.
Mm-hmm. I
I
mean,
didn't
because
mind seeing the
I
strings.
know it's a
I mean, I'm
marionette.
not
I mean, that's like,
stupid.
that's like,
I'm stupid. I know it's not human beings.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
mind the strings. And you get people of nowadays or people, 10, 15 years ago, like Peter Jackson and said, and they basically say, I could do this better. I can, you can have this
Mm-hmm.
look, but you won't have any strings or anything like that.
So, but
And
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Leave that alone.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And see, that's when people are not looking at the big picture
Mm-hmm.
because with marionettes, it's not just that you're looking at the puppet. You're also looking at the artistry
Mm-hmm.
of
Absolutely.
Right.
exactly of the
You lose
puppeteer.
it. You lose that.
Yeah,
And that's the
Mm-hmm.
artistry. I mean, I remember growing up in New York City. We had, artists who would do
Mm-hmm.
puppet shows and stuff, and they would come in and they would be on Broadway or would be in different places doing this. And it wasn't artist. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
artistry. That doesn't even exist anymore
yeah,
It's so
because they
sad
said,
when
"Well,
you
I
think
could do
about
it
it.
better. I don't need strings." Blah blah
yeah.
blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's on Facebook there's a group that promotes this generation of puppeteers.
Oh my
You
gosh,
know,
guys, we have like
Time.
15 seconds before the show ends. Thank you all very much for
We'll finish
having
it
us.
another
Yeah,
day.
yeah, our puppeteers, marionettes in New York and elsewhere. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. We'll see you back here next week, same place, same time. Take care. Bye bye.